Hey, so today I'm going to be telling you the story of my daughter's birth. Instead of doing a vlog type video, I decided to record this and then overlay some pictures so you'll get some nice random pictures of me at the hospital, probably right here. I was induced on February 16th it was supposed to be 8 p.m., but because I had problems with my insurance the day before, I was induced at 10. I had to be induced due to lack of amniotic fluid. If you don't know what that is, it's the water that surrounds the baby while they're in the womb. Because I didn't have any, she was not growing because there was no room for her to grow. They told me when I went in that I would not be able to have her without the epidural. Anyone who knows me knows that I am one to want to prove everyone wrong. I am always determined to prove everyone wrong. I went in, they made me sign a paper. They made me go ahead and sign the release saying that I was okay with any complications that the epidural might have, even though I didn't plan on having it. I had to sign a lot of papers. I had to get an IV, of which I am petrified of needles. Honestly, I would probably rather cut off a toe than get the epidural. Yeah, that's how petrified of needles I am. So I couldn't watch while they put the IV in. I was kind of freaking out the whole time. So they told me it would be the next day in the afternoon before she would get here. They meant after lunch. They said it's going to be at least 1, 2 o'clock before she gets here. So I said, okay, I was just gonna wait. But in the back of my mind, I knew she was not gonna take that long. In the back of my mind, I'm gonna be done in a couple hours. She's gonna be out in a couple hours. Of course, by 10, I was already ready to get out of there. I'd only been there for 2 hours. So they told my family, which was there with me, it was my husband, my grandmother, and my grandfather. They told them, go home, get some rest. She'll be here tomorrow afternoon. You can probably come in after lunch. My grandmother and my grandfather went home. My husband didn't because he knew I would probably smother him in his sleep whenever I saw him again. You know, because about 5 o'clock in the morning, after they had given me a little bit of medicine to fall asleep, I feel the urge to push. I called the nurse's desk. They said, what's wrong? I said, I need a nurse in here right now. No nurse. 5 minutes later, no nurse. I called the desk again. No one answered. I tell my husband, go find someone. Go find anyone who works here. He runs down the hall. He can't find anyone. He comes back. Says, there's no one at the desk. There's no one in the halls. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. The next shift hasn't even got there yet. The next shift wouldn't get there until 6. Then it just so happens, as I send him down the hall again looking for anyone, he runs into my nurse, the one for my room. He tells her, she's got to have you right now. So she comes in there. She asks me what's wrong. I tell her what was wrong, and she checks me to see how far dilated I am, and she goes, I think your family's gonna miss this. And of course, I'm over here like, well, duh, you sent them home and we live an hour away. Of course they're gonna miss it. They don't have time to get up here now. And then she runs to get my doctor. It just so happens that there's another lady having her baby at the same time as me, and my doctor is with her. So here I am, no doctor. My nurse is telling me to hold her in. Anyone who's ever, pushed out a baby can tell you that's not possible. Then, just by a stroke of luck, the next shift delivery doctor is on his way up the elevator, and his on his way to come deliver my baby. He gets up there, and all of the instruments that they had prepared for me had went to the other lady. So they don't have a table of instruments ready. Great. They need that. They need the stuff to cut the umbilical cord and to do my stitches. They don't have any of that, so I have to wait for them to get a table ready. They're getting the table ready while I'm pushing. So I have like 10 different nurses in and out of my room in the middle of me pushing. Now here's the funny part about this room. It was one of the smallest rooms, I think it actually was the smallest room on the floor. It was not supposed to be a birthing room. It was supposed to be a labor and inducement room. I was supposed to be transferred into another room after the next shift of nurses came in. Well, obviously that didn't happen. My biggest help and encouragement during that labor was my nurse. I believe her name was Nurse K. She was possibly one of the sweetest women I've ever met in my entire life, and I would have her with me at every single birth I ever have if I could. She stayed past her shift to be there with me because she knew that my family wasn't going to get to be there. And then there she was, 5 pounds, 15 ounces of opinionated sass straight out the womb. The first thing she did was grab a hold of my IV and look at me like, "What have you done to me?" It was the best moment of my entire life. Of course, I hadn't had a lot of moments like that anyway, so of course it's going to be the best moment of my life. And then they took her away. They took her to the nurseries because she was a preemie, given she wasn't very much of a preemie. She was, I think it's early term, so they took her and checked her up, and she was fine, and she was perfect. And I was very mad her dad got to see her before I did. But then they brought her back, and she pooped. And I handed her off to her dad, and he had to change her first poopy diaper. And then, finally, I get transferred into a different room. I stayed there for a couple days because it was a hospital, of course, and that's policy where I live. I think it was a very interesting experience for me, definitely. I hope you all enjoyed listening. I just hope you got something from this, because I got something from having her. Spoiler alert. I got her. Alright. I guess I will see you guys later.